Board meeting to order for Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. Roll call, Ms. Cindy.
Ms. Richards?
Present.
Mr. Toller?
Here.
Ms. Abrams?
Here.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Present.
Mr. Duncan?
Here.
Mr. Anthony?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Piazza?
Here.
Ms. Dominguez?
Present. Okay. At this time, we will have Mr. Tom Toller to introduce our Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah. Tonight we have with us Miss Remy Cotrere. Remy is one of our star students from Spring Creek. She's also on the student council at Spring Creek. And I've agreed to go to one of her meetings, and she's agreed to come to one of my meetings. So she's going to lead us in the pledge tonight. Everybody please stand.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And just to say a little extra about Remy, I have a picture I wanted to share with you. Her dad has been building this airplane for the last 3 years. And Remy, you can see the little picture of her crawling in it. There were spots that could not be reached by anybody else except somebody like Remy. So yesterday was their maiden flight out of Hammond. That's Brian Ard flying it. They were flying it just a few minutes ago. But 3 years of work to build an airplane, and Remy's been right there helping them along the whole time. So STEM doesn't just happen at school. It also happens at home. So I'm excited to see where it takes her in her future. So thank you for being here.
Thanks, Remy. Okay, next item on agenda, consider approval of board meetings of October the 3rd, 2023.
So move. Second.
Moved by Tom, second by Mr. Westmoreland.
Okay, just 1 second.
Okay. Any questions? Call to vote?
I've had to reload it.
Okay.
Voting is open. Mr. Toller, you abstaining?
Put a yes.
She always say she put it up.
Okay.
Oh, she put it up on the screen. Okay.
I'm sorry. We change it?
Yes, it is showing abstain. Yes, there we go. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously. I had it up on the screen.
Okay, at this time, we will have academic update on the 2023-24 pupil progression plan. Dr. Lisa Fussell.
Good evening. We shared, I think Ms. Cindy shared with you the 4 things that were kind of updated. There wasn't anything that was new. 2, 3, and 4 were really cleanups of things that we were already doing and just clarifying the wording. Number 1, it's not that it was new, we just wanted to clarify. And that's really for when a student who's an EL student comes in without any records. It just says, hey, we're going to put them at an appropriate grade level, but we're going to still wait on their records for Carnegie credit. So, for example, we wouldn't want a student to come in and be placed as a senior who then goes through all the graduation stuff but doesn't have the requirements to graduate. So we just wanted to clarify that in the pupil progression plan. Any questions on those 4 items? And I just really wanted to update you all on that part.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Okay. All right. Second update on diversity recruitment partner in education.
And I'm going to turn this around because this is really recognizing some work from Ms. Spring and Ms. Showers, who I'm going to ask to come forward and share. So Mr. Vitter received this letter from Diversity in Ed, this is a group who is a diversity recruitment partner. And I'm going to let Ms. Spring has done this work for years, and now Ms. Evelyn Showers has come on board to do this work. And they sent a very nice letter to Mr. Vitter explaining how much they appreciated the partnership, because it is an extra step that we do in that department just to make sure we really reach out. So Ms. Spring, would you share a little bit about what that looks like? And then Ms. Showers, you've been working with it some, if you would like to share. And then I have a little certificate that came with this.
So when we recruit for our district, of course, we are looking for highly effective teachers, but we're also very intentional about looking for diversity in our staff in our school. And so we're very intentional about recruiting at all of the regional HBCUs around our area. And so just excited that we get this, and I'm real excited Ms. Showers is taking the baton and gonna do a great job with it. So I'm gonna let you add to that.
Was not prepared to speak, but to Madam President, Madam Superintendent, to the board members and everyone assembled here, first I would like to thank Ms. Stilley for the opportunity to serve as HR coordinator for our district. And I would like to thank our director, our assistant superintendents, and others who are here, who have given me the support, but especially Ms. Sharon Spring, because for the past few months, whenever I would go to her office, or she would come and sit in my office and we would share ideas, she's always been there to support me, and I really appreciate that. And I ask for your prayers. Oh, Olivia, thank you. So she's over there. And I ask for your prayers as I travel to the different colleges and universities around the state. I'm trying to bring the best of the best back to Tangipahoa Parish School System, because our students deserve the best. So thank you so much.
I'm even color coordinated, so thank y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fasell. At this time, consider committee reports. Finance and Audit Committee, October the 3rd, 2023.
I make a motion to accept the report.
Ms. Rose?
Second.
Okay. Mr. Joy? Any questions? Comments? Call to vote.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda for tonight. We're under board actions.
Okay. Can we get a,
I need a second.
can we get a second?
The motion is to waive the rules and add an item to the agenda. Have a motion.
Okay. Okay.
Who seconded
Question?
it? I'm sorry.
Trent.
Mr. Anthony.
Okay. Questions?
What is it?
I think you're supposed to say
Supposed
what
to
it
tell
is.
us.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the motion is to amend the agenda for tonight to add underneath board actions to refer the student code of conduct back to policy for further discussion.
So we make that like subsection E.
Yes.
to go back to policy?
Yes, ma'am. So we were not going to debate it tonight. We're not going to add anything tonight. The reason why is me and Mr. Anthony and a few other board members have had some discussions, and I think it's definitely worth going back to the table and maybe look at some of those tiers.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Question, well, let's,
We have to vote to see if we can
first
add it.
is to waive the rules, and then we'll do a second vote on what the agenda item is, and I have a
Okay.
question about that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, call to vote.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
So then there would be a second motion to add it to the agenda, and my question, Mr. Piazza, is, are you wanting to just refer back to policy, just the policy related to the code of conduct, and I don't remember the initials of that, but is it just the policy or also the blueprint that we approved that was associated with
The
that?
blueprint as well, I think is necessary because of the way we did it and made those changes. I think you're going to have to amend the blueprint as well.
Okay, so it's your motion then to
Yeah.
add that, to refer both of those for discussion in policy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll second that.
Okay. Motion and second by Mr. Duncan. Any questions? Comments?
And this is just to add it to the agenda.
To add
To the next policy.
to the next policy? Okay, call to vote, Ms. Cindy?
I want to read it I'd like to read it first.
Okay.
Okay. Motion to add under board actions referring student code of conduct and the student code of conduct blueprint back to policy for consideration.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Right. So
That's
this
correct.
vote would just add it to tonight's agenda for us to vote on when we get to that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it reads fine. Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jeff McNeely, consider approval to purchase furniture for task Phase 2 from, wait, am I?
Like the,
I gotta go to, I skipped A?
Yeah.
Look, I scratched A completely off.
Joey's fault, he got you.
We did A already.
Okay, I'm thinking I did Joey already. Okay. Consider approval to refer policy BCBL. That's where we are, Joey? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Invocations before school board meeting to the policy committee.
Yes, ma'am. So after doing some digging, I've reached out to our school board attorney about our prayer policy that we have on file. If everybody remembers way back when, we had a lawsuit about doing public prayer. Since then, they've had a overturn in the Supreme Court a good bit back. Since then, we haven't really reviewed that policy. I've spoken with counsel for us to be able to hold public prayer again as long as it's open, and I've gotten the green light from our attorney. So I want to send it to policy so we can talk about it further and have our attorney here present to make sure moving forward we have the appropriate policy in place.
Okay,
I'll make a motion. Second.
okay. Ms. Rose?
I mean, I seconded it, but then somebody else did, and somebody else did, so.
Second.
We'll do four. So. Unanimous. Unanimous.
Everybody.
Okay.
well, let's call for a vote and do it unanimous.
Okay.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Well, that's a very good thing to say that we all agree on that one.
Amen.
Amen.
Yes. Okay, now, Mr. Jeff. Consider approval to purchase the furniture for Tpss. Okay, Mr. Terry. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, this is for the Phase 2 portion of TAS for the furniture to put in those classrooms. That's for this $55,516.48.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tom, second by Mr. Joy.
What all?
Questions?
I have a question.
Ms. Rose?
Are we replacing all the old furniture for this new furniture? Or are we adding more furniture for Tpss?
This is new furniture for the Phase 2 side.
The phase 2 was already, I mean, the building was already there before, we just remodeled it, so,
This is new furniture to put in that.
in the remodeled side.
Yes, ma'am.
So what happened to all the furniture that was in there to start with?
As it came in, we stored it, and then as classrooms need more furniture, it goes back out. We just didn't hang on to it.
To other schools, you mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It got repurposed.
Okay.
Question. Terry, so I'm glad to hear that we to the point to where we're ready to get some new furniture for the renovated building. Do we have a date or any firmer estimate of when we're actually going to be able to get to move into this newly renovated building?
It looks to be the end of December.
Okay.
So second semester.
So we'll hopefully be ready to use this building for next semester.
That's the idea.
That's the,
Plan.
unless we find some other thing to cause it to go backwards. But
Yes, sir.
hopefully we found all of
Yes, sir.
the goblins, right? So, okay.
I was just gonna say, anytime that we do this much remodeling at a facility, you know, I would find it hard to go back and put old equipment or old furniture back in there. I wouldn't want to do that in any school. Unless there's equipment that was just placed there and it was still usable. But,
But at this point, it's a total remodel of that entire building now, right?
Yes, sir.
We originally were gonna do one side, then we did the other side, then we added the cafeteria, we found electrical, we found asbestos. I mean, it's a total gut and redo at this point for the
Yes,
whole
sir.
campus.
Down to the studs and back up again.
But from what I can remember, it was like mixed match stuff that was
Yes,
there
ma'am.
already anyway. It wasn't,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay, call for vote.
Okay.
Not my job. Question?
We're okay on that end?
Yeah, we
Okay. Call for vote.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. So, Mr. Terry, you going with the next one too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, Metro has one of their senior managers that's going out on his own, and just looking at the contract and the services, we're just wanting to go into a different direction to make a more robust contract.
So move.
Okay. Tom and Ms. Joy? Any other questions, comments? Call to vote?
So we're not.
Voting is
we're not-
open.
I have a question, Ms. Jan.
Okay, well,
So we're not actually terminating their contract right now. We're just
Correct, we're asking permission to seek forward.
to seek,
council,
Termination Per the contract,
to council.
to council.
okay. All right, so I wanted to make sure. We're not actually terminating their contract right now. We're asking to seek council's recommendation.
Yeah, we're asking you to give us permission as administration based on what council tells us. We don't have to come back.
Okay.
We're asking permission to terminate it pending whatever the terms of the contract are to do that.
All right.
Well, maybe the wording needs to be a little better in this motion then?
Consider, yeah, consider.
How about the motion would be to terminate in accordance with council's recommendation.
There you go. Thank you, Attorney.
That's right.
Had to be something better.
Terminate,
He's gonna start billing us.
terminate with council's recommendation.
In accordance with council's recommendation.
In accordance.
Because Jerry said so.
Okay. You got it, Ms. Cindy?
Yes. Voting is open.
Yes.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Terry. Okay. At this time, Mr. Ron, could you tell us how we want to handle item D, appeal?
Turn this over to Mr. Moody, counsel. Yes, may it please the board, is Shante Frazier here? Shante Frazier? This is a requested appeal of a suspension that came up, and but the parent is not here, and we can only assume they've abandoned the appeal. So we think to close the matter, though, you ought to consider a motion to affirm the superintendent's and the administration's decision on the suspension.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is to affirm the decision of the superintendent.
And Mr. Moody, if the board, Mr. Moody, if the board wishes to have any discussion about this, it would have to be in a closed session. But if we feel like the material we've already received
Exactly.
is enough, then we can just vote.
Anybody could ask that we go into executive discussion if you felt the need to discuss it.
But if we've got multiple pages on it, if we feel like we can just vote on it, then we can do that.
Exactly.
Call for a vote.
Any more discussion?
Okay.
Ready? Voting is open.
It's not to refer, just affirm.
Affirm the decision.
Affirm, okay, I'm sorry. Motion to affirm. Voting is open.
I have a question. Does this, okay, so does this eliminate the right of the parent to file an appeal? And
Yes, technically they have a right to file appeal to the district court. That's the law for expulsions. This is a suspension. Ordinarily, suspension wouldn't come to the board. But apparently early on there was some recommendation for an expulsion of the student, which I think is reduced to a suspension. But because there's an adjustment, the law still allows an appeal to the board, even if it's been reduced already. So the earlier recommendation for expulsion apparently has been reduced already.
Okay. Okay.
No.
I had one other question about,
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
before we move on though, who can confirm for us that the parent received notice of today's meeting? That this was
Or
on
in
the,
communication with her.
I didn't see that in the packet. Who was responsible for that, and can we confirm that they did receive notice of, that this was on?
Yes, we can. The parent was notified, and the same day she was notified via phone of the date and time of the meeting. She did a follow-up meeting with me in my office to confirm the date and to even ask specifically if there will be an opportunity for executive session to present her case.
Okay, so they did receive all of that notice?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. At this time, superintendent's reports and our recommendation. You want to go ahead and
The
do?
E that we added,
Oh, sorry.
that last referral.
For the policy? To go to policy, okay. Mr. Piazza? Item E?
Yeah, as I stated before, we're motioning to put the student code of conduct and the blueprint back to policy for further discussion and possible revision.
So second, the motion is to refer, I'll second.
Okay.
Voting is open.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Yes, yes, Ms. Cindy. Didn't pop up. Let's pop up.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, at this time, the superintendent's report.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Item 5A, consider approval of the 2023 school bus safety resolution. Mr. Jenko, did you want to read that, or it's attached in the file or on the screen now?
It's up to you. It's up to y'all.
Sorry.
I think you have to read it.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank our bus drivers for everything that they do each and every day, transporting our students back and forth. And just remind our drivers in the vehicles, please be cautious of our school buses. There's precious cargo that they're carrying back and forth. So with that being said, our 2023 School Bus Safety Week resolution. Whereas yellow school buses are the safest possible vehicles for children whose homes are far away from school, requiring transportation according to state and national data. And whereas the local community is committed to providing a safe, crash-free environment for the public school bus riders in Louisiana who travel daily on our roadways. And whereas the exemplary safety performance exhibited each day by our school bus operators on the roadways of Louisiana ensures the highest level of safety for other motorists and student riders. And whereas local organizations are encouraged to support student and traffic safety activities associated with National School Bus Safety Week, October 16th through the 20th, 2023. And whereas motorists must remember to stop when a school bus has stopped with its stop arms extended and red lights flashing. And whereas motorists should continue to be reminded about their role in ensuring the safety of our children who are walking, bicycling, and getting off and on of school buses. And whereas during Louisiana School Bus Safety Week, everyone is reminded to keep out a watchful eye for our students going to and from school and to take extra precautions around students and school buses. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Tangipahoa Parish School Board recognizes this year's School Bus Safety Week theme of driving safety into the future during the week of October 16th through 20th, 2023, dated the 17th day of October, 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jenko. We ask the board to consider approval.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay, it's motion and second by Mr. Tom.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, Ms. Steely, want me to finish the superintendent's report?
Yeah.
You want to? I'm going to finish it. Okay. Yeah, item 5B, consider approval of the differentiated pay plan for 23-24. Dr. Fussell.
Good evening again. The Louisiana legislature passed in the regular session some money for school systems. Specifically, they encourage it to be used during this year for recruitment and retention to have an impact on our students currently. So I shared that plan. I'm not sure, Madam President, do you want me to go through each one, or do y'all want to ask questions about any of it? How would you like me to read the proposal?
Yeah,
or?
just go with 3 main points.
Okay, so the first point, we had 3 areas, and one of the areas we could target are highly effective teachers. So that would be based on Bulletin 130's definition of highly effective, which is our full evaluation. So if approved tonight, our teachers right now, setting their goals, starting their observations, would know that this would be on top of the effectiveness stipend that's already in their salary schedule. So that would be the first point. To retain our current highly effective teachers would be the goal. Second is to attract new certified teachers to our high-need schools. High-need school is defined as a school with 85% or higher economically disadvantaged students. In our case, those also align to students with the label, schools with the label of D or F. So this would be, especially right now with some graduates in December, this would entice them to fill any vacancies that we currently have in any of those schools. And then third would be incentive to our resident teachers. We discovered in a recent discussion with other districts that they give additional stipends to their resident teachers to encourage them to be their first choice and to encourage them to come to their district. So our third incentive would be for our resident teachers in Tangipahoa Parish.
Madam Brett, I have a question.
Yes.
So I have a few.
Wait, let's get a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I'll move to adopt the administration's recommendation.
Okay.
Second.
No,
Okay. Did you get that, Ms. Cindy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Question?
Yeah. So I have 2. So I'm looking over the stuff, and I have 2 major things I'm kind of wondering about. The stipend for the teachers for highly effective. I think that's a fantastic idea to give an additional bonus for those who are putting in the effort to score a highly effective, because that's tough. Why do we only have 100 slots, though?
So what I did, Mr. Piazza, is I took 5 years of data of our teachers who have scored highly effective, and remember, that's the observation and the school. So we average around 50, so I just doubled that, anticipating growth in that area. So that's where that number came from. And I was working within a budget. So we have a budget for this.
Right. So we have 50 currently, though, that's highly effective.
We have had an average over 5 years. Currently, if you took the effectiveness, you got to remember right now we're finalizing the prior year. So I just looked at VAM. So with VAM, we would have had 39. That doesn't take their full, which our principals are packaging right now.
Okay.
But over 5 years, we've had 50 as an average a year that would be highly effective per that definition.
Okay.
And working within the budget, I just anticipated growth.
And no, I'm not arguing that at all. I just was curious because I know
Yes,
we
sir.
have an abundance of teachers. I didn't want to exclude anybody if we
Yeah.
meet. I didn't know where we fell.
Oh, yeah.
Second, the stipend for the $15,000 for the people to go to a in-need school. I see here it's only for new people to the district. Have we, as administration, excluded maybe if we offer that to current staff, like if we have people who would be willing to move from one school to another to help with those schools?
Well, I wouldn't want to do it in December, and this targets particularly December. I wouldn't want teachers moving from one school in the middle of a semester, but we have definitely, as an administration, discussed the spring open transfer. Like last year, we brought a proposal to you before the transfer job fair. There are some things we'd like to run through our advisory committees and look at some other points, but this money is particularly trying to get people that's not already here, new, especially like we have 6 resident teachers graduating in December. If they find out they can get that to stay here and go to one of those schools for vacancies, we got a better chance. And I bet Ms. Showers says, let me take that on the road with me for right now. We do have a few vacancies right now we need to fill for December. Some people who have left, some that may be going out on maternity leave, things like that.
And my final question, if I have somebody who meets 2 criteria, they're new to the district and they're a resident here, will these compound?
Well, when Ms. Spring and I were talking about that, so right now, if I'm a resident graduating, I'm eligible for the $15,000. We have 12 current resident teachers that are with us now and will be with us through May. They would be, in my opinion, if y'all approve that. And we have 6 that are coming to us in January that will be eligible for half of that stipend. And there's about 8 pending some praxis scores. So those 20 slots will fill very quickly.
Yeah, because the only reason why I ask that question is if I have someone who's here that's a resident of Tangipahoa, they've taught here for a while, and I have somebody who could move to another school and we're not offering that, I just don't want to make anybody upset if we're now giving somebody brand new to the district, brand new to the schools, a compound of $20,000 extra.
No, so the resident teacher's the, like, student teaching right now.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank y'all for.
I have a couple for after the meeting.
Okay.
Oh,
yes,
after,
ma'am.
okay. Call the vote. She said after.
Oh, okay. Voting is open.
Thank you, Dr. Fasell.
Oh, I'm sorry, mine's not here.
I was going to finish my section, then y'all can go back to that. Is that okay?
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item 5C, consider approval to amend the 2023-24 salary schedule. Mr. McNeely, it's our next step on that one. Mr. Duncan.
So, just to give the general public an idea of what we're talking about, this, the board and the administration have been working on coming forward with a proposal related to the passage of our half-cent sales tax penny. If the public will remember, when we went to the voters for that, the commitment was that we would continually analyze that, and as we got a better idea of how much that half-cent sales tax penny would accrue, we would continually look at making sure that we're spending those funds down. That we have been getting that data. It looks like we do have some additional dollars to put towards an additional pay raise. The administration's working on getting some data together for us. Specifically, we have the firm that did our salary study for us last year before we did the last adjustment. We've asked them to update some data. They're getting that together for us along with some other information. And then we're going to come back and hopefully have something firm that we can vote on before the end of this month. In addition to addressing how to spend down that balance from the half-cent sales tax penny, there's some additional items that we're looking at making adjustments to our salary schedule on. The administration's working on that as well, having to do with some stipends for extracurricular and coaches and other issues. So we're hoping that we'll be ready sometime next week for the Finance Committee to meet, review all of that data, review those recommendations, and hopefully have a meeting on that, and then final adoption would be at our meeting, first meeting in November. But again, the goal is to have all of this ready so that by the end of, we'll have some adjustment to the salary schedule ready to be done before the end of this year. So the motion at this time is to table and refer the salary schedule amendment to finance for further consideration.
Second.
Can I make one recommendation? Can we schedule that finance committee meeting at like a Hammond School or something, since we've been trying to do that?
Yep,
Go ahead
absolutely.
and set that for next week, whenever we think we can make that happen.
Yeah, and as soon as, and just so the board knows, I would love to be able to tell you right now when that's going to be, but we want to get that information from Lean Frog, make sure the administration's ready to give us their final recommendations. As soon as Mr. McNeely tells me he's ready, then Ms. Jenkins is going to get on the phone with everybody, schedule it, and absolutely we can do it on an on-location meeting.
Good, thank you.
Okay, yep.
Undebatable.
Yeah, it's a non-debatable motion, so we just need a vote on it.
Okay.
Thank you. Item 5D.
Gotta vote. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got to vote.
We're just motioning. to
Voting
table.
is open.
Are we voting to amend it? or-
Motion to
We're voting to
Vote
table to the finance committee.
It says amend, is that okay?
Oh,
Oh, it says table and refer, my bad. Good.
yeah. Motion is to table and
So the motion that I'm reading is a consideration to approve the
Look
amendment.
down here. Look down there.
Okay.
This motion. This motion.
Okay. It was in,
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Yes, thank you. Item 5D, just an update. I wanted to remind the board and the public that when the board approved the calendar for the 23-24 school year, there were emergency days built into each semester. So we have 2 emergency days that were built into the first semester. It was also designated on that approved calendar that if those 2 emergency days did not have to be used before the Christmas holiday, that they would be given back to our employees and students on the 21st and the 22nd of December. So basically what that would do is extend the holiday for Christmas by two more days, because those were 2 days that we had banked in the calendar in case we needed to take an emergency day. So fingers crossed, if we do not have freezing snow between now and December or some emergency, then there should be 2 days that have already been approved by the board to give back to our employees and our students. So that would be December 21st and 22nd. I just wanted to put that out there well in advance, you know, for the public to know as well, so they can plan accordingly. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Can I make a comment real quick, Mr. Ennis?
Yes.
Mr. Lee, can we get that information out in like a mass email? The reason why I'm asking is because when we changed the Mardi Gras holiday this last year, some parents hadn't prepared for those two extra days being off. So if we can kind of spread that around, that if we don't have an emergency, we'll have those 2 days off. Like, I think now would be a good time to do that.
Yeah, we can certainly email that out to everyone. It's also identified on our calendar that's posted on our website. Those days are actually identified as the 2 days, but we'll email everybody and let them know.
Thank you.
Madam President, I have a motion. I would move at this time for the board to reconsider agenda item 4D, consider an appeal on the suspension to alternative placement site by a student. The parent has arrived and would like to proceed with that hearing, and certainly think it's appropriate that we offer that to her.
Yeah, we point out that ordinarily a motion to reconsider must be made by someone who voted against the motion previously. I think it was unanimous motion.
Yeah, it was.
But perhaps you could also include a motion to waive the rules to allow you to reconsider.
Okay.
If that's done unanimously, I don't think there should be any problem.
So waive the rules and reconsider the motion.
Okay, do we get a second?
Before you get considered.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Westmoreland, second.
Who made the second?
Ms. Glenn?
Mr. Westmoreland? Okay. Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes with Ms. Abrams and Mr. Piazza voting no. Okay.
It had to be unanimous, right?
It does.
I don't
does.
believe it.
To add
I
it.
would,
To reconsider it?
I think if it's within the same meeting, Chris, that, I just don't know that I don't know that that's the rule.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the rule. But I think you have a 2/3 vote, correct?
Yes, sir.
And by 2/3, you can.
Because we're not
waive your
adding an
rules.
item to the agenda, so I don't know that it needs to be.
That doesn't have to be unanimous, just to add something to the agenda. It's already on the agenda. So by 2/3, you can vote to waive your rules. So
We do
you have a
motion.
2/3 vote, so I suggest the motion passes.
Okay. So does the chair rule that the motion passes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then if we can take that item up, I believe the parent wants to have her meeting in executive session, so I would move at this time to enter executive session to consider agenda item 4D.
Channel 17, proudly serving the Florida parishes.
Good, thank you.
Somebody need to say something.
Tom wants to say something.
Mr. Duncan?
I don't want to say.
I don't say.
I do.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank Remy for coming tonight. Thank you for doing the pledge and participating. Secondly, I know we mentioned it earlier when we were talking about the money, coach's stipend, trying to put a little more emphasis in working on that to where, I have a situation, and I've already talked to Mr. McNeely about it, but I have a situation where one of our secretaries is also a coach. So a small percentage of her salary is not enough to pay for what it takes to be that coach. So I appreciate the fact that we're going to work on that, and I know Jeff's going to help me on that. Third, lights at Kentwood, they look great. Mr. Valaruda, whoever worked on getting the new LED lights around the campus, it brightened it up and it looks really good, and also a lot of trees have been trimmed. I don't know if it was the parish helped us with that, so
Parish.
I appreciate their support on that.
Charles Terrell.
And then, last but not least, I talked to Mr. Jinko about this, and also Ms. Stilley. Sumner was hit with a hefty fine from the Athletic Association we're accused of recruiting, and it went through the appeal process before any of us even knew about it. And so I'm asking, Mr. Jinko's going to look into it, and if that proceeds, I'm asking that we get the attorneys involved, that we file some type of suit, because it took $5,000 out of our softball girls' account for the fine or the penalty, and we cannot participate in the playoffs this year. And that is a big punishment for what it was. It was a girl at Marpole that her dad's moving to the Kentwood area, so she tried out for this year's team. And they tried out last year, but she was still enrolled at Marpole. And that's a no deal, but they considered it recruiting. And that just absolutely infuriates me that the committee was made up of people from another parish that competes against us, and we pay the penalty for that, and our students are paying the penalty for that. So Mr. Jinko is going to look into it, but also I want the full weight of our attorneys. If we're going to pay attorneys, we're going to pay them to do something good for us. And so anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. And I want to make sure to publicly say it. We're going to fight for the girls at Sumner, the softball team, to be able to play in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
And get our $5,000 back.
Yes.
That's all I have.
I got a real quick one. Thank you to Remy. You did such a great job, and thank you, Tom, for bringing her. And just a big congratulations to Ryan Joseph, new Ponchatoula Junior High School principal. Excited about that.
Y'all took my man.
Oh, man, my bad. Well, we went to high school together, so I'm excited for him. I'm excited for having somebody that I know well that I can go call on the phone and show up and speak to. And anybody went to Shake, Rattle, and Roll? Anybody show up for that? That was awesome. we have a lot of talent in the parish, and I was just really proud to see that. And Miss Steele, LaRondre High dance team won their part of the competition. They beat the Wavettes.
Yep.
But anyway, good times, though. I enjoyed going there and just enjoyed seeing all the talent.
And Roseland won as well.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I wanted to say congratulations to Tangipahoa Parish Fair on their endeavor moving over to the arena this year. It was a big move for them, and it turned out really well. The Shake, Rattle, and Roll, I heard, was a great event. I got to watch a little bit on Facebook as I was coming in from Italy on that day. But I want to give a shout out to Independence High School. I went to their homecoming game this past Friday night, and Coach Travis over there, he is getting those kids fired up. They beat Springfield 40-28. Herman with the band, they are amazing. Trent was there. They're doing an amazing job over there at Independence High School, and I'm so glad to see my alma mater just coming around, and I know there's great things that are going to be happening at Independence High School soon. Another thing is Penny Power. As you all know, I work for TARC, Children with Special Needs. Our Penny Power will be in the schools starting next week. It'll be Independence, Neeson, Midway, Natal, Benny, Woodland Park, Greenville Park, just a few schools to mention, SLU Lab, Monte Dela Rosa, a few private schools as well, Trafton. So if your kids come home asking for money, give them some change, let them look in your couch cushions or whatever. Every penny makes a difference for kids with special needs, and we'll be doing that for the next 3 weeks. So just make sure you check the calendar in your child's book sack for all of that information.
I want to thank our guest tonight that's sitting behind the board for her bravery to sit back here and deal with us and be back there and speak her mind on her program and what happens at her school. That's an inspiration to every kid that inspires to be in student council and to be part of a leadership role on their campus. So thank you for what you're doing on your campus, and I hope others follow behind you. I agree with Mr. Tom with us looking at athletics. I think that a lot of our coaches and people who put in the time with our youth after class and after school ends deserves a fair shake and a better look at that stipend situation. So I'm hoping that committee moves forward soon, what we talked about at our quarterly meeting. Other than that, we're going into holiday season, guys. It's winter's approaching. I walked out and got chilly the other day and was really excited. But I think we're going in the right direction. We got a lot of work to do, and I look forward to see what we as a team can do to better our school system.
Thank you. Mr. Duncan?
I just saw some folks in the audience, and I think at the last board meeting, y'all had mentioned this group of men that Dr. Hatcher had helped put together that had been just praying over our schools and being a presence over our schools. A couple of those folks are here tonight. But I believe, and I know y'all recognize that at the last meeting, but since the last meeting, there's been some work that's been done to expand that effort out into LaRonja. There was a community meeting out in LaRonja to get even more folks involved in that. I think I had a Boy Scout meeting that I had to go to, and I didn't get to go out to LaRonja that night, but I did recognize the work, and I want to thank those folks for being here tonight and for the work that they're doing, and just, that the prayer is important, community engagement is important, and then also, of course, though, that does not replace the need for us as a board to do what we need to do with having sound policy and administering those policies the right way. So all of those things are important to ensure that our schools are successful. But again, I want to thank these guys for being here and the work that you guys are doing. So, yeah, y'all want to just stand and just, no, you don't, they don't want to.
Just raise your hand.
But I recognize them, they're here, and I appreciate them, and I just wanted to make sure we mentioned that. So.
Ms. Bailey? Okay, I do want to acknowledge, thank you again, and you did very good with the gavel too. You got to get them under control. Also, Independence and A-Meet congratulate them on a successful homecoming. It was really, really nice. I was able to ride my bike down through and kind of talk with the people, and it was just really, really nice and very, very peaceful. And then afterwards, A-Meet calls and says that they want to start an alumni band so that they can go up in the stands and play.
Oh, what they trying to do?
Yeah.
They trying to imitate independence?
That's right, yeah. and I just thought that was so good to think out of the box and until, they get their band back on track. So, Mr. Horace, I commend you for that. And he said that he started with just with an idea, and he's got 50 people now.
Herman has been working with local bands, Amite and Kentwood. They've all been together.
They
and they're
have.
trying to do a Tangy band.
Wow.
Where they can all march together like 150 plus.
That would be great.
Yeah, so they're really working hard to make these kids feel like they're part of something.
That's awesome.
I'm just glad they're not doing like old football players doing like a flag,
No.
because I'd be winded and beat
Well,
up
that was
in
my
the first
question.
quarter.
I wanted to know if they were going to go out and perform on
Yeah.
the field. That I couldn't see.
Hey, girl, I did that 3 years ago. I got out there and twirled my flag at Independence. Don't let me do it again. I'll do it again.
Another thing that I was very excited about, and I saw on social media, Mr. Joy, that was a very good gesture that you did to go in and volunteer to teach, to sub that day, and I just wish I would have thought of it too. But I just kind of think that was just a great idea.
Can I make a comment on that?
Mhm.
So I've never been Facebook famous before, so I just want to make sure that I did not know that photo was taken. Did not know that situation. So
He just made all of us.
You just made all of us look bad because all of us work during the day and can't get there.
I just wanted to say that the
that's
reason why that happened was I happened to be on campus, and the principal and the assistant principal hadn't eaten their lunch yet, and they had been going back and forth to that same class because the students were just they weren't out of control enough to take them out, but they just wasn't giving that person the respect they deserve. And to see a principal and an administrative, they're trying to work their butt off, and they didn't even eat their lunch yet. Like, their lunch was cold on their desk, and I said, eat your lunch, I'll handle it. And I ended up staying there pretty much for the rest of the day because I didn't want them to have to come back in that room. And it had nothing to do with the praise or the glory. I seen a need there, and that's all. But I will say this, we need more subs. We need more people that want to be in these rooms to get in these rooms, especially if you're a retired teacher or somebody who's been in the education field. That is the biggest thing, because those kids need those type of people. And I hope ESS understands that need and produces that need, because it does cause an issue on campus. But don't praise me, praise the ones who are there every day.
Well, I just kind of think that that's a great idea, because like with Mr. Tom, he's been saying, and we've been trying to get it done, is to have our meetings, to hold some of our meetings on the campuses of the schools. And so, so we're going to start that, and I really do like the idea.
Yep.
I'd like to make sure, first of all, to congratulate Kendall Duncan for becoming an Eagle Scout.
Yes.
And I hope that as many of us can be there to watch that as possible, but I would also like to see if maybe Mr. Duncan would like to invite her to come to our next meeting so we could publicly recognize her.
So we will have, some of y'all that have been on thank you for that, Tom. And I do hope that y'all will make an effort to come. Kendall is the first female Tangipahoa Parish public school student to earn the rank of Eagle Scout.
That is a big deal.
She's also the first female troop member from Tangipahoa to earn the rank of Eagle Scout. And so we're trying to make this as special of an occasion as we can, and we would love to have y'all there, and we'll feed you if you show up. So please show up. But to answer your question, in years past, what we've done is we've tried to invite all of the Eagle, the scouts that have earned Eagle over the course of that school year. We try to bring them all in together, and then I'll give them the Eagle Scout charge and do a little ceremony. So I definitely want to get that done.
Make sure we do it.
Yeah, I think we stopped doing it during COVID, and we need to get that back going again.
That'd be great.
All right.
I mean, she comes from good stock, Brett.
Oh,
I have no doubt that she
half of it.
Okay. The last thing is to remember is to remember that tomorrow is Unity Day, and wear and share orange to show unity for kindness, acceptance, and inclusion, and to send a visual message that no child should ever experience bullying. So it's Unity today, tomorrow. So wear your orange. And of course, I mean, and take pictures of orange, because I'd like to see all of y'all in
Yes, you
orange.
would,
know?
Ms. Rue.
Yeah. You could put a little blue, you know,
Why couldn't we pick like green
because orange shows
or
kindness.
red, you know?
Kindness.
I'll even take red.
Of course, you know, and then we went, I'm not going to say anything, but, you know, we did go down there and beat McDonald 35.
Whoa.
So, hey, we ranking. At this time, we're going to ask Mr. Jerry Moore to come.
We stalled as long as we
Yeah,
can.
we didn't talk as much as we can talk, Mr. Jerry. You guys.
All right, I'll make, if you'll bring us back to that agenda item, I'll make.
Okay.
Would-
Good
So
item.
we're going back to agenda item, what is it?
4D.
4D.
All right, so back to, on agenda item 4D, Madam President, at this time, I would make the motion to affirm the administration's recommendation, but noting that there's been some additional discussions that we're going to try to accommodate.
Second.
I would move to make a slightly different recommendation, and that we basically suspend making a decision altogether for right now, because I do feel that there's more that I need to consider. I mean, the rest of the board may be already, at this point, you know, I'm going to disagree with the motion to recommend the administration's.
Are you making a motion to table?
Yes, so I would like to make a motion to table.
There's a motion to table, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Call it a non-debatable motion, call the question.
Can I ask a question before we vote on this?
Undebatable.
Non-debatable.
You can make a point of order, or, I don't know.
I just want to make sure if we table, he's still suspended, he's still missing school.
If we don't put something in place, then he's still missing school.
You can
That's not-
vote
that's
yes
not our
to
choice.
table or no to not table.
That's not our
That's not our choice.
Right. But yeah.
Correct, Mr. Duncan? If you voted,
Vote no if you're not tabling. If you're voting yes, you're voting to table.
No, Ms. Jenkins.
No, Ms. Jenkins?
Voting is closed, motion fails with Mr. Moore and Ms. Janice voting yes.
No, call the question on my motion. Ms. Jenkins, we're calling the question on the motion, on my motion to affirm. Who seconded my motion? Tom?
I thought it was Trent.
Oh, Trent.
All right.
We look alike.
Okay.
Not even close.
Okay. Voting is open.
Yes, Miss Cindy.
Yes, Miss Cindy?
Voting is closed, motion passes with Mr. Moore and Ms. Richards voting no. Okay. There's no public,
Okay.
no
Is there
public.
any other public? Not. Meeting is adjourned.